Taking a look at the brave men and women that serve our great nation, we're happy to have on Amy Forsythe. She's an award-winning military journalist, U.S. Navy Reserve's public affairs officer, and author of Heroes Live Here. All right, Amy, thank you so much for joining our show today. You are a Marine, a military journalist, and now a public affairs officer. Can you tell our audience about some of your most rewarding moments?
Wow, I have so many. Really, it'd be hard to nail it down to just one or two, but really my favorite memories of serving in uniform was when I was in the United States Marine Corps, and it was after 9/11, and I was mobilized back to active duty and deployed to Iraq in a place called Anbar Province, Fallujah, Ramadi. Some of your audience members might know those cities. It was the toughest dirt in the world, literally. The height of combat operations in 2006, and I was on an amazing team. And it was my job to, as a photographer, to go out and capture the troops going house to house or patrolling the streets of Ramadi and getting that imagery, some still images, and then the video that we would send through the satellite dish back to news outlets and media. So what people were seeing was the footage that was taken by me or people like me, my colleagues, my fellow Marine combat camera personnel. And so those were some of the great memories I look back on, just not only how dangerous it was, but being able to capture and share the courage it takes to wear a uniform, to step off into the unknown, to raise your hand and say, I'll go, send me. And the troops, the Marines, the sailors, soldiers, airmen that would risk everything to go serve overseas, it just means a lot to me to be able to have captured those images and share their story.
Let's talk for a moment about a book that you've authored, Amy, named Heroes Live Here. What inspired you to write this book, and when did you start documenting what was happening around you at Camp Pendleton and the combat operations in the Afghanistan and Iraq War?
Well, I was first stationed at Camp Pendleton in 1995 as a young Marine, and it was my job to go and take pictures of troops doing training and welcome the community onto the base for special events. And so I just fell in love with the base. It really is a testament to just how hard the Marines train. What I wanted to share with the people is the memorials that were erected in honor and in respect of those that had fallen. More than 1,000 people based at Camp Pendleton were killed in Iraq and Afghanistan over 20 years. Some of the very first troops and the very last troops to leave Afghanistan, those Marines and one sailor, were from Camp Pendleton. So I filled the book with a lot of pictures and a lot of stories about our troops that were killed, and then the memorials that people can go and do a windshield tour and look at the maps and read the stories about the people that actually were served there and then stepped off from there but never to return home again. Heroes Live Here is the title of the book.
I want to talk to you for a moment about the recruiting levels that we're seeing. So recruiting hit record highs after Trump's presidential win, enlisting nearly 350 soldiers every day in December of 2024. Do you see the president and the new administration boosting morale in the military as a whole?
Well, I think that can be one aspect of why we're seeing a spike in recruiting. But of course, patriotism and a call to action, a call to serve our community, because when the community feels that their taxpayer money is being spent on, a good use, and we have a good mission, whether it's protecting the borders or doing humanitarian response and crisis response around the world, people want to be a part of that. And Americans want to step up and send their sons and daughters into harm's way if they know and they can trust the government is doing it only in times of need and at a crisis moment where no one else can fill that mission. There is a renewed interest in serving, and folks, young people can be proud of their service if they choose to enlist or join the military after college and go through an ROTC program and become an officer, a commissioned officer in the military. Thankfully, young people still are joining the military, and we get to welcome them into the ranks and be a part of the legacy that has gone before them.
Amy, thank you so much for joining us today, and also for carrying on those stories of those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.